Hey guys, it's Watercolor Jumpstart number 21, and today we are going to do our super serious, like 3D light source study thing, like when you go to the art supply store and you flip open one of those books that's like how to draw. There's like a picture of a cone and a sphere and a cylinder and a cube, and it shows a light source and how the light reacts to the different surfaces. So yeah, we're going to do that whole thing. So we are starting with a drawing of a cube. So I would recommend just going into your Google image search and putting in something about light source cube or something like that, how to draw a cube, and you'll find some really nice pictures of like a nice plain wooden block with a really dramatic light source, like a lamp shining at it. So the light source isn't coming from above in your studio or outside where the sun lights up everything. It's coming from a very specific light source. It's the best for this kind of exercise. I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with this kind of thing, and if you're not, you probably would recognize it if you see it, or maybe this is your first time seeing this whole simple shape shading situation, and congrats, I'm glad I could show you this. But it's a very common kind of exercise when talking about rendering 3D objects. So I went in, I drew it, I cleaned it up with my kneaded eraser, and what am I doing? Oh, look, I'm still working on that drawing. Oh, here's me trying to decide, well, crap, I've got all of this space left. What do I do with it? I like how even though it's sped up, you can still see the hesitation. Oh, no, what am I going to do? Oh, no. Oh, let's see. All right, I'm going to paint in just a light wash over the whole thing to make a background, and knowing that this color will be the lightest color on the face of my cube. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And notice I don't go all the way to the bottom. I'm leaving that space at the bottom open, and we'll talk about that. We've actually got kind of 3 topics today in this, so it's a very dense lesson. Go ahead and get that all down, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to wait for it to dry. So that kind of creates a nice picture plane for us to work on top of. So now we're going to take a slightly darker color. We're working with quinacridone burnt orange, and we are going to paint the faces of the cube that the light is not touching. So the light is shining most dramatically on that face of the cube to the right, which is causing a shadow to go down behind it. We all know how lights work. Where the light is hitting, the other side of it will cast a shadow. Then went ahead and put this kind of medium color down. So that's where the light isn't hitting quite as much, sticking with that orange. And we're doing a little shading on it, I guess. It's been a couple days since I painted this. What am I gonna do next? Okay, so here we are filling up the space at the bottom with a color mixing exercise. So I chose to do this because we are going to mix our cobalt blue with our quinacridone burnt orange, and we're going to use that to make a cooler shadow. But it was like, well, what do I do with this extra space? And I saw Lee Ellerson. I'll link her below. I saw a post she made on Instagram where she had this really cute painting of like an animal, and then on the side she had kind of her colors swatched out. It was just a nice design element because color swatches just look cool. And then I've seen Denise from In Liquid Color. She does this thing where when she's exploring the variations between 2 colors, she'll just do all of these tiny little swatches showing the varied range you can get. And so those things are useful as exercises just to, look at all those colors you got from just 2. But also I think it looks cool. So it is kind of a combination design element, and I guess it actually does serve a purpose, but really I just wanted it for the design element. Now here below I'm doing 3 swatches where we'll look at whether or not the colors layer well, or if you like it the way they might layer. So that's always a good idea if you're going to start layering stuff. Go ahead and try it out on a scrap piece of paper. So I do end up having a lot of scrap papers that look like this. They're a little bit more random, but you know how it goes. You just want to try out your colors before you do it on your masterpiece. So putting a second layer of our quinacridone burnt orange. So see how our cube is already starting to take shape. The shading on it is starting to make it look like it's actually 3D. So definitely get a visual reference that's like from a photo or from someone else's drawing. Don't make it up because there's little nuances to it you wouldn't notice. So now we're going to do a layer of blue on top. So the reason why we might do a layer of blue, we could do another layer of quinacridone burnt orange and that would be totally fine. But I chose to put another layer on it because when things are in shadow, they are typically going to be cooler in color. Cooler meaning closer to blue. And it creates a more interesting effect. It's just something that's more, I guess, complete is how I think about it. And so just think about that when you're doing your layering for shadows, that you want to layer cooler. So that's kind of our second or third concept. Now down below you'll see that I have layered blue on top of that first red swatch, and I'm going to layer red on top of that second blue swatch. And the third one is the colors just mixed together. So it's interesting to see how similar and different it is to layer versus mixing. And that is our cube. I'm just kind of fiddling around with it to make it look a little nicer. So we ended up doing this exercise and we came away with something that looked a little bit more pleasing as a composition. We learned a bit and we saw how our colors mixed. So I hope you enjoyed this exercise. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe and use a hashtag jumpstart with Jenny. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye guys.